Astrology Master. Welcome to the Free Astrology Masterclass with me and Dara. I have been studying astrology for about 8+ years, and I love it. And it kind of rules my life. Just how I see through reality, how I see through my own lens is through the astrology lens and through the language of astrology. And so I really wanted to share that with you today, all about how the elements and the different components of the zodiac chart can inform our lives and give us meaning and purpose, and also just help us learn more about the natural world. So without further ado, let's get into the class. So what are we here for? We're going to learn about why astrology is so awesome. We're going to learn about how to find your chart and where's the best places to go for that. We're going to learn about the basics of the zodiac chart, just orienting you to what's on that circle thing. Maybe if you've never even seen a chart and you want to know what you're looking at. And then we're going to do a group exercise, which I will lead you through in finding the elements in your chart, and also your body constitution, which is in Ayurveda, there's body constitution such as Vata, Pitta, or Kapha, which is, so the constitution is basically for your health, to learn about your specific health type, body type. And then I'm going to also share with you about the upcoming class that I'm offering. It's a 3-part mini series, and it's going to go more in depth and into detail with a lot of the things we're going to learn in this class. And at the end of class here today, I'll show you what's the June class is all about, the astrology class coming up, the mini series. I'll describe a bit more about that. So stay till the end. All right, so why are we learning astrology? We, as humans with brains, especially me, I don't know about you, but we like to compartmentalize things. We like to categorize things, and we like to give things meaning and placements. So astrology helps us to categorize our natural world, the world that we see, and place things. And also it shows us the patterns of life and how it gives us orientation to life and how we relate with it. If you love numerology, if you love sacred geometry, if you love, that's like patterns, right? Numbers and patterns. That is really cool. You can find that in astrology with the different degrees, the order of things. Also, one of the main reasons astrology is so awesome and we can use it is because it connects us with the natural world. It connects us with the elements. Nature is vast. We live on planet Earth, yet we are surrounded by stars and planets and asteroids and things flying through space. We are flying through space. So if we orient ourselves in that way, we get more connected. And we also learn about like the fundamentals of nature and how nature works. For example, the elements. There's 4 basic elements: air, fire, water, and earth. And they rule our lives. Like, we are made of them. And so the elements, we actually live in us. And some of us embody the different elements more than others. So we actually get to connect with the elements through our own selves, our own being, because actually our bodies, they are the earth. The earth is made up of rivers and streams and forests, and it has wind and oceans and all the things. And so do our bodies. They have wind, they've got rivers, they've got fire, which is the digestive system, or the sun. They've got all the same components. So I've always thought, well, I've always been interested in this man-made, this idea of man-made versus natural or nature-made. Well, that separates us from nature. That makes us as observers who are not part of nature. and we're just like these alien creatures who are looking, and that may feel true for some people. However, when we fully connect with this nature world that we actually live in this time-space reality, we can better commune with, we can better understand it, we can better feel like we belong here. So that's one of the reasons why I love astrology. It connects us with that. It's so awesome. Another thing about nature is cycles, connects us with the cycles of life. The moon cycles, the sun cycles, even Venus's cycles. You may have seen how the Venus is, how it dances around the earth with the sun, makes this beautiful geometric 5-pointed star. Like, it's trippy how beautiful, like I said about the sacred geometry, that nature is. So we get to actually find where we fit into that. And that's the cycles we can relate with and like live our lives through more in a cyclical way, because the earth is round, even though some people think it's flat. It needs to be round because all the planets are round and all of that. So that's why cycles are cool, because they are round. And I think yeah, roundness is very important because time is actually not linear, it's spirals. So that's why cycles are more attuned to the natural world and who we innately are. Let's see, alchemy, yes. Astrology relates with alchemy because alchemy is not just the physical aspect of some mad scientist turning lead into gold. It's actually, it actually can happen within us. Like the soul, who we are, comes into this form, into this life kind of raw, and then it gets to be polished throughout life. Like that's what our kind of work is in this earth plane, is to polish and clean our soul, or our, our bodies, are just like who we are and how we see the world. We're working on stuff, right? This isn't just like a la la playland, fairies jumping all around on the earth, as at least right now it's not. It's this act of like chewing on lessons and doing soul work. And so alchemy is actually, that's part of alchemy, is actually turning lead into gold, or turning raw, like a raw life, a baby's life, who knows what it could be, but growing it, transmuting, doing all the things that will in turn turn it into gold, which is represented as the sun, which is like the most bright, life-giving essence of one human, that one human can be. So it's doing all the soul work to get to that shining embodied place of the sun. So that's how alchemy relates to astrology. Knowing thyself is related to alchemy. One of my favorite podcasts is called Know Thyself, and they talk all about, I want to direct you there because they talk all about the energies of the moon and the sun and all the planets, and they actually have 7 stages of alchemy, a whole series on that, and how you can, how to like go through all that and relate it to astrology and the metals and the planets. Knowing thyself is one of the best things we can do. It's one of the most empowering things we can do in this life, is to know who we are and why we're here. And that brings me to the number 6, which is about purpose and meaning. Astrology gives me purpose and meaning. It shows me my, like, why I'm here and what I'm here to work on and learn. Like, what does it mean when Mars is in Taurus? Like, that means that Mars, as my teacher planet, the planet of Mars as my teacher, is showing me what I'm doing, like showing me what my soul wants to work on. So, and that's in the field of the Taurus energy. And we'll talk more about what that could mean later. But the point is that the planets are our teachers. So if we have a planet in a house or in a zodiac sign, then that planet is teaching us that realm of things. We came here and we requested to learn and get better at that specific realm of existence. And so then if the house, there's no planet in a certain house, you actually you're actually kind of mastered that realm. So knowing where the planets are, it shows us what direction to go in our lives and what to focus on. And some people need that help with that, you know. Otherwise, they might be a little lost, and that's why it gives us nice direction of where to focus. Raising children is the last thing I wrote, is because I think it's beautiful. Like, imagine if your parent had your birth chart and they knew what it meant when you were born. So they knew like what kind of challenges you're coming in with and what your soul really, really was going for. And so they can help assist that. They can help create situations where that your soul feels fed in that, and they can also know, you know, how to relate with you more as an individual. And that's why I really have a hard time with the public school system in America, is because we're all taught the same thing. We all have to take the same classes. But what if I personally like don't resonate with a certain class at all, but I really want to become adept in this other class? Astrology can show us which classes are best for us to learn to go into, um, and we will feel encouraged more to go into things if we know, like, if the parents know, oh, my son's like birth chart says this, and oh, maybe we should enroll him in this class because of that. And um, yeah, and it's not to be too controlling over their lives, but it's just to give them more of what they might be interested in. So astrology basically is a code, it's a language, it's a way we can relate to the natural world and to each other. And so what I love what I mean when I say it's a language is, like, if I say to you that person's, you know, got their sun in Sagittarius, you immediately know a lot about this person because you know all of the components of Sagittarius. You know how this person might be seeing the world, and you can have more understanding of someone. And I think that is really helpful to understand other people and the natural world, of course. So to find your chart, I suggest going to astro.com, and it's really easy. You can make an account and it'll have all your information, your login information, and you can actually stack up charts. Like, if you want to plug in yours, but you also want to do your mom's and your parents and your friends, you can gather a list of charts and informations, and they hold it all for you there. It's best, this is for more like a computer rather than a phone, and it's free, and I like that about it. And there's lots of different ways you can view the chart in many ways and do different things with it. So I suggest astro.com, but I also suggest, if you want to purchase something, time passages on your phone or ephemeris on your phone. I've used time passages, and it's really great. It's an app. It's about $40 or so. So throughout, we're going to have an opportunity to look at our individual charts in this class. So if you want to find that now, or pause this and go find your chart, that would be awesome. Then when we get to the interactive part, you can have your chart handy and do the exercise. Yeah, so moving on. The components of the chart. So here's the main components, 3 things here. We've got the houses, which you'll see here, 1 through 12. Those are the houses, and they're always right there. Any chart you look at, this is always going to be the first house. Same for everything else. We've got the zodiac signs. And also, okay, we've got the zodiac signs. This is Aries right here. This is where it all starts. This is the beginning of the zodiac. Aries is March 21st. And that's apparently, that's the beginnings, right? So And then it goes all the way through to Pisces, which is right here. So this is the alpha and the omega, and then it repeats, right? But these are the symbols right here on the outside for the zodiac signs. And I recommend you memorize these symbols so that you can read charts and just know the cool symbolism of it all. There are 15 astral bodies. There's more, but I named some here. And there's 15 or more astral bodies. There's planets, there's segments of like the rising sign, there's the midheaven, did I already say asteroids? Like that. So there's 15 plus of different things that you'll see within here in your chart. And these are the symbols right here, these yellow things. These are the symbols of all the planets. So we've got Mars, Venus, Mercury, the moon, the sun. Did I say Mercury down here? Yeah, Mercury. Okay, Mercury's here again. There's Venus, Pluto, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Oh, I'm just noticing, and this is really cool, that these are the rulers of these particular zodiac signs. For example, the sun rules Leo. They are similar energies. Mercury and Virgo, similar energies, Venus and Libra. That's why Venus repeats twice and Mercury repeats twice, because they have dual things. And so Mars and Aries, so you'll see that here too. So that's how they relate. And then the colors are actually the elements, which we'll go into later. Or maybe next. So yeah, I highly recommend you remember these, and that this is a tool for you. I wrote all of the names of the zodiac signs out right next to their symbols so you could memorize them. And here we get into the elements. So all of the red are the fire signs, and we've got fire is Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. We've got earth are the green, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Air are the grays, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. I love that those have these lines in them. They all share a similar vibe because of the lines, the double thing here. That's my favorite thing about the air. Water, we've got here Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So that's how you can memorize the elements. And bringing it back to alchemy, we've got 4 elements and 3 signs for each element. So that adds up to 7, and there's 7 alchemical stages turning lead into gold. Now, the astrology, just to give you more depth into how rich astrology can be, we see that not only are there elements and signs and planets, there's also different energies that fit with each zodiac sign. So for example, and that's called the modality or the principles. And so Capricorn is a cardinal earth sign, and there's only one cardinal earth sign in the whole zodiac. For another example, Aquarius is a fixed air sign. There's only one fixed air, and that's Aquarius. So that's what gives Aquarius its very unique flavor. It's because it's fixed air. Whereas another air sign, Libra, is cardinal air, and that's a whole different energy flavor, because cardinal represents creation, taking action, initiating. So that initiation expression is very different than maintaining, building, and controlling. Fixed, like just holding it. Mutable is more about changing and adapting, and it's a lot more movement. So you can see how mutable and fixed are different, because fixed is fixed and mutable is changing. So this can give you a lot of information into someone's personality by which modalities are strong in their chart. For example, I have a lot of cardinal in my chart, so I'm always constantly starting projects. I'm highly creative. I'm always taking initiative, and that's just my nature. but someone else might be like more fixed, like I'm holding down the fort, I'm staying in this house forever, blah blah blah. Like I'm holding the space more, and you can start a million projects in this space, but I'm holding the space. So there's different energies that we can all bring forth. And that's what's so cool about astrology, is because as we're moving into the age of Aquarius, we are going to need to work on our community skills, our community building skills. And community recognizes that each person is different and each person has a special thing to contribute, and each person is an integral part. And so that's where we can find, oh, you're really good at this, because of how your innate nature, and you would fit perfectly in this task. And so this is a way to look at humans as like integral parts of systems, instead of just parts that, control or systems, if that makes sense. Sulfur, salt, and Mercury relate with these three, and I'm not sure which one's which. I think cardinal is sulfur, salt is fixed, and mutable is Mercury, pretty sure. But you can learn about that in the Know Thyself podcast, and you can also look it up. And I don't think I'm going to go too much into the principles in the three class mini series, but it's just interesting to note that this is a very foundational part of alchemy, and it relates with astrology. The 3 house sections I'll probably go into in the mini course, and it's just about the houses and how each segment of the houses relates more with, like, whether you're more of a community extrovert or more of an internal introvert. It kind of shows that. So this is what I'm showing you, is like that there's different ways to look at the chart and break things up based on a lot of 3s and 4s. So again, it relates strongly to alchemy and like the foundations of life. Here's just a nice picture of how the Mars energy rules Aries, Pluto rules Scorpio. This is the planet Mars. So they related. The planets and signs have energies that are like synonymous. So, and this is kind of the opposite energy. Mars is very masculine, action-oriented energy, and Venus is a very calm, relaxed, beautiful, feminine energy. And Libra and Taurus are ruled by Venus, and Aries and Scorpio are ruled by Mars and Pluto. So just showing you, giving you a little taste of what you'll be learning if you continue to learn about astrology, and memorizing how the planets relate with the zodiac signs. For example, like what zodiac is Uranus most aligned with? And that helps when you're looking at a chart to see if it's a strength or a weakness, because if Saturn is in Leo, that planet is not really that compatible with Leo, so it might be a challenge. Whereas if Saturn is in Capricorn, that's more of a harmonious energy. Here's some more pictures of the next 3 slides are of the symbols, so to help you memorize them, so you can come back to this and draw them, or this is how I learned. I drew them all out, and they are in order here. No, they're not in order. Aries is the beginning here, so Aries through, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, and this is Chiron, which we'll talk about maybe. These are the asteroids. These are the elements, the alchemical element symbols, which you won't see in a chart, but they are helpful if you want to do shorthand of anything. And they inform the energy, because water and earth are downward energies. They're yin energies, and air and fire are yang energies or upward energies. So they're very different. And that really informs how someone's going to be, what they need in terms of how to balance their own personal systems. And For example, like I have a lot of fire and air in my chart, and that's yang energy and it's upward energy. So a lot of my energy is always going up and to my head and like, woo. So I need to focus on grounding and bringing in water, drinking water, going bathing a lot in hot springs or bathtubs. So those are ways that I personally need to balance out. And that's what we're going to talk about when we do our exercise. But this is just a little preview of that, the elements. And it's funny that they didn't spell water right, but I don't know how to spell everything right either. Here's another way for you to memorize the different elements and zodiac signs. I'm going to go back to that just in case you want to pause on it. Here's another one. A little blurry. Don't really know what these are. There's always more to learn. There's lead, sulfur. Hard to read this. Sorry about that. But yeah, just focusing on, I guess, the elements here, the moon, there's salt, the earth, Terra, sun, Uranus, Neptune, Saturn, Mars, Mercury, Venus. So yeah, there's some good stuff in here. Next, we're going to transition to learning about our own charts. So I'm going to put down here. Let's see. So first we're going to count all the elements in our chart. So I'm going to go back to this chart that was here. And we're going to count this random person's chart. And I would invite you for your own chart to do this, but if you don't have your chart in front of you, you can count here with me. So right here, we've got the moon and Jupiter in Leo. So that's 2 for fire. Is there any more in fire? Nothing in Aries. And there's 2 in Sagittarius here. So there's the sun and Venus. So we got 2 more in fire. So we have 4 total in fire. And that's what I just tallied, just 4 in fire. Now I'm going to do earth. It looks like we've got Uranus and Pluto here in this earth sign of Virgo. The greens are the earth. So we are going to tally Uranus and Pluto. So that's 2 for over there. Over here, we've got the north node in Taurus. I like to use the north node to inform me, even though it's not a planet. Capricorn, there's nothing. So we've got 3 in earth. Next, we're going to do air, just because I wrote it down, and that's going to be the orange. Looks like Mars is over here in the orange, because that's the line, and it's right under it. So I'm going to do 1 for Mars, and then over here, nothing. Over here, nothing. All right, 1 air. Now, we're going to look at the last one, which is water. And that will be Mercury and Uranus, so 2 for water. Another nothing here, and we've got 2 here, so that's 2 more for water. That's 4, and then also this is the ascendant, which is in water as well. So I might add another one for that. So that's 5 in water, 1 in air, 3 in earth, and 4 in fire. So this person has predominantly water in their chart. So this person has more water, more association, more relations, more feelings of being watery than any other sign. So this person's probably more connected with their emotions. They might have really deep emotions. They might feel connected emotionally to many people. They, that's that's how we would look at that. They have a lot of water in their chart. So they might actually need more air people in their life to balance that out. the Earth was the least. So they might need to, yeah. And so, yeah, but they do have the fire, which balances it because there's 4 fire and water and fire are opposite. So that is balancing in itself. So that's good. Um, so that's just one example. So now it's going to actually be different to do the next exercise. So we have 2 ways we can find our elements. One is to find what's predominant in our chart. Oh, I should have gone back. I'm going to go back actually to look at. The moon is in fire and the sun is in fire. So fire is strong as well. It's even stronger when it's the sun and the moon. So they have basically almost equal amount of water and fire. So that's already pretty balanced, which is great. But they have very little air. But now we're going to find out what rules their, we're going to find out what rules their entire chart, what element rules their entire chart, which is really fun. And this helps you find the constitution of your body. So what you do first is you look at the rising sign, which is on the left side of the chart. I wish I had a chart that was closer than that other one. I'm going to bring it closer actually here. All right. Okay. So first we look at the rising. Left side is the rising, Scorpio. Scorpio rising. So now we're going to look at what planet rules Scorpio. We saw this before, and planet that rules Scorpio is Pluto. Mars rules Scorpio as well. So we'll just write down Pluto and Mars. Because back in the day, they didn't have Pluto. It didn't exist. So Mars would have ruled Pluto. But now that Pluto exists, did I just say Mars rules Pluto? No. Back in the day when Pluto didn't exist, Mars was what associated with Scorpio. Now that Pluto exists, Pluto is more relevant to Scorpio, but they both are, right? So that's step 1 is find the planet that's most associated with the rising zodiac sign. We did that, Mars or Pluto. Now, the next step, sorry, I went the wrong way. The next step is what planet, we did that. What planet rules the rising sign? So we would write here, if we were writing, it is Mars and Pluto. Where is that planet in the rest of the chart? Where is it? Pluto is right here in Earth. Mars is right here in air. So my intuition is telling me that Earth rules this person's chart more than air because there's not much air in this chart. So Pluto, being the most current rulership of Scorpio, is in Virgo here. So we're going to write down Virgo now. This is a fun formula that you can use at any time with any chart to find the constitution. And I just love this because it's like encoded in the chart. You don't have to take someone's pulse. You don't have to know the person at all. You can just say, where are the planets? Although it's wonderful because Ayurvedic is like the longest health exploration in history. Well, it might be the same as astrology, but it's 5,000 years old, and they take pulses and do other checks to find your constitution. But this is a fun way for astrologers. Sorry for the tangent. What's the next step? We did that. We did number 4. We did number 3, and we found that the planet was in Virgo. Where's that planet in the rest of the chart? Number 4, what zodiac sign does it fall under? So these are basically the same. 3 and 4 are basically the same. So where's the planet? We found it. It's in Virgo. Now we ask, what is the ruling element of Virgo? And we know, because it's green, that it's Earth. That's one way we know. So it's Earth. So we found that this person's constitution is mostly kapha, but we also know that they have a lot of, yeah, and that makes sense because water is kapha. So this person might be more heavier, their digestion might be slower, they might be more attuned with their feelings than their mental scape. So that's how we know about this person. And I love this because here's a personal story. I love this because I didn't really know what my constitution was, or the ruling element of my chart for a while. I took the Ayurvedic constitutional analysis and it said, like, you're probably Pitta. And I thought I was Pitta. But it turned, which I am a lot of Pitta, but it also, I'm a lot of Vata. And that's really informative because instead of dialing into just the fire element, which is Pitta, a friend who's an Ayurvedic practitioner once was like, you seem like you've got a lot of Vata in you. And I was like, yeah, maybe I do. And so um, it turned out that after she said that, I found out that the ruling um, element in my zodiac chart is air. And I didn't know that until I learned it, of course. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I have a lot of air going on. I love to talk. Air. It's a big part of who I am, to talk, which I'm doing right now. And so if I didn't know that, then I wouldn't have incorporated and been more as confident to focus my life on communication and speaking and more of the air qualities, which we can talk about right now. Even like air is all about like what happens in the air. The waves of the internet go through the air. The birds fly in the air. The insects fly in the air and they pollinate all the flowers. Air is about like pollination and sharing information, like kind of connecting the whole world and sharing vital information so that people know what's happening. It's like informing and it's creating growth. And like, how would we be able to grow if we weren't communicating our needs or what's happening or what we're seeing or feeling? So air is a big, and even singing song, like that's super healing, using the power of the voice to heal and the waves that come through the air and even the lungs, like having, like it's the first thing that we need, that if we run out of breath, we die the soonest, like in 3, 5, 7 minutes. So it's very vital to life. And just knowing, more intimately this element has helped me to really value myself because I value the air. And to hone my skills in that realm. I'm not going to go honing my skills in the emotional realm because I don't have a lot of water in my chart. I'm really wanting to learn more and I need people that are watery in my life so I don't feel like I'm totally heartless and just gonna, rush through like the wind. Like I need that, dreamy downward water quality to even feel restful, but it doesn't come naturally to me. So I look for that as influence in my life. But what does come naturally to me is air. So like, why not use that? So that's what helps me. And it also helps to know how you can most easily get imbalanced. So if I know that my chart's ruled by water, I'm kapha, I know that if I sit around too much, I'll, even though I like sitting around too much, I might become way too stagnant and it might not be good for me. So maybe kapha people, it's really important for them to like make sure to exercise. For vata people or air people, it's more important to like make sure to have downtime, make sure to ground, make sure to, because otherwise you'll kind of float away like a little feather. So there's different, so this is how we know how to take care of ourselves. Let's go back to the slideshow. Just had to have that little, so yeah, I'm curious what your things are, what your rulership is and what you've discovered. And because like some of us, a lot of us just know our sun and moon sign, and that has nothing to do with maybe our element, our ruling of our chart. So for example, my sun is in Aries and my moon is in Capricorn, but my rulership is in Aquarius in the air. And it's like, wow, that's a big part of me. So that's what I love about astrology, finding more of the parts of ourselves. So I made this amazing map. I had a friend help me make it and we collaborated on this. So if you feel like it, printing it out or just using these questions on the side, I wrote them down. They're in this blue box. And just doing some journaling and asking like, what is the ruling element of my chart? So using that formula we just found, what elements do I have most of? What elements do I have least of? So for me, like it was water's the least and fire was the most. What activities am I doing that nourish the elements inside of me? So that's where it comes into getting more intimate with the elements. And right here in the chart, it shows what they mean. So fire, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius mean focus, transmutation, energize, energetic, metabolism, thinking, and it could be destructive. Fire is hot and dry. Fire is masculine. So what activities am I doing that nourish my fire? Am I working out regularly? Am I using my mind to focus regularly? And if I'm not, why not? Or how can I incorporate this? Because if we're doing all of these kind of in balance, we're actually living a more whole, full life. And we're embodying all of who we are. So you'll see here, Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio is water. What is it? What is that? It's the blood, it's the feelings, it's the subconscious or the dreams. It's being calm and fluid and receptive. It's moist and cold. It's feminine. So you can just like tune in to that energy. Like, what am I doing that nourishes my feelings? Like, do I give myself space to just relax and feel? And just like, do I work with my dreams? Do I have good, trusting, emotional connections with other people? So this is like a way to check in, like, yeah. And sorry if this is the way to check in with our life and the state of our life and where it's at and where we might need more. So the next thing is, what element do I need to learn about in order to bring myself into more balance and wholeness? So what element am I like not familiar with at all? Or what element intimidates me? For example, air, like for me, air was intimidating. Gemini and Aquarius was intimidating. But I know that like learning about them really will make me stronger. Gemini being intimidating because my Chiron's in Gemini. Libra being intimidating because it was like a lot to do with my past and it was kind of a shadowy aspect. Aquarius being intimidating just because, well, it's not intimidating, but it's a place that I wanted to focus because of where my planets are. And then, so I think I had more intimidation here on the left and I needed to work on that. So Taurus is, yeah. And you'll know more what element do I need to learn about in order to bring myself into more balance and wholeness. You'll know when you look at your chart, like if you see Saturn, wherever you see Saturn or Mars, those are usually big teachers. So where's your Mars? Is it in Virgo? So you go like, I need to learn more about this earth stuff, like grounding, manifestation, protecting myself, stability. Like I need to figure that out because my soul is asking me and came here to learn those things. So that's how what I meant about the planets being our teachers. Like this is our learning template. So I hope you can utilize that in a good way, and feel free to reach out to me on Instagram or through email about any questions in terms of like if you're confused about how to use this. Other things you can look for are patterns like to help you inform you about your energy and what you need, like what you are lacking. What type of people do I attract? For me personally, I attract Cancers a lot. Cancer, Gemini, Leo. So, well, I did attract Leo, but not much anymore. But now it's like more Aquarius and Cancer. So, and that informs like what I really need to surround myself with. So, Cancer being more watery and like I just need to be in warm water all the time and to hydrate. And then Aquarius because I have all these amazing like futuristic connective things that I want to partake in. So what type of people are you attracting? You're learning, they are your teachers as well. So if you're always attracting Sagittarians, like, you know, what is it that you're learning from them? Are you learning how to like open your mind more or to think more into certain things? And we'll learn more about, of course, those energies and what it means in the mini series. What am I trying to learn from them? I already kind of spoke to that. What theme? So for me, for instance, like a lot of the Cancer people in my life, I'm trying to learn like how to be empathetic, how to be connected to my emotions. That's one big thing I'm trying to learn from the Cancers in my life. What themes come up for me in each zodiac sign? I don't know if I spoke about this earlier, but this is one of my favorite things to do as I keep learning about astrology and relating it to my own journey is, for example, we're in Gemini season right now. It's May 21st. It's May 25th. Gemini season just started. So I can look at my chart and say what planets are in Gemini. For me, it's just Chiron and Gemini. And Chiron is known as the wounded healer. Chiron is an asteroid, and it's like the wounded healer is a big deal. It's like what's your most core wound and where's your biggest block, basically. And so it's a big deal to traverse those areas. But every year in Gemini season, I get an opportunity to really dive in and say, okay, Chiron, you and me, buddy, let's do this. And so I would do that with every season. So in Cancer season, which is the next one, and that starts at the solstice, I would say, all right, what I would say to my midheaven, which is my career, what do you got for me? Let's do this. Let's focus on our career. Let's dive in. So that's really fun. And then you get kind of a celebration month off when you have a blank area, when you have no planets in that zodiac sign, because you've already mastered that. And so you can kind of just create your own reality on that one or look. Yeah. So yeah, celebrate is the what I was mostly wanting to share. So yeah, that's another way to use astrology is to look at each month and see how you want to embody your lessons. And so I am so excited because I'm offering a 3-part series where we'll learn more about these concepts. Class 1 will be on the planets and the houses. And probably should be on the zodiac signs. So we will do that. And then class 2 will be on your rising moon and sun sign. And class 3 will be on other important aspects in your chart. Now that I look at this, I might need to make the class longer, but we might have a bonus class or something, or a 2-part for class 1 might need to be a 2-part. But anyways, I'm offering this mini series. You also get an electronic gene key reading, which is it has to do with the gene keys and crystals and also astrology. I'll explain more about that in an email, but you get that as part of the class, and you get a lifetime access to the classes, just like you do with this one that I've sent you. And they'll all be in a portal that you'll get your own password to, and you'll have access forever to learn and to share more about your knowledge of astrology. So I'll be emailing you more about that, and just wanted to plant that seed that we're going to start this in a couple weeks. And yeah, if you liked this class, then you'll maybe want to learn more with me. Thank you so much for joining. So grateful for your interest and for just to connect on the virtual interwebs like this, where we can share our own signatures and passions and expressions. Thanks for receiving the love that I poured into this presentation, and I hope you learned a lot. Feel free to reach out to me. I love talking astrology all the time. I hope you have a curious mind and heart in terms of all this, and it wasn't too overwhelming. And thanks for being part of my community that I'm creating. I think I want to name it the Inner Alchemy Community now. Yeah, that feels good. So enjoy. Sending so much love. Aloha.